to Prepdog.com. My name is Brian Hunnicky, and today I'm going to show you how to make your own high air compressed launcher. This particular launcher has been created for a carnival to launch giant roaster marshmallows. So these giant marshmallows basically are going to launch from a tube, and you're going to take a bicycle pump, as students are. You're going to take a bicycle pump, they're going to load it up with the compressed air, right? You're going to do a little compressed air in there, and then they're going to try to hit a target. And so by hitting the target, they're going to adjust this launch tube, and then they're going to hit a device here, an electronic device, to trigger a valve, and it's going to launch. Okay. So how do you make one of these? Well, first of all, this is a system that I've created that actually makes it so that you can daisy chain or stack them together. So you can actually take all these and you can move them where they're all hooked up to each other. Now, if you're going to do that, you probably want a automatic or an electric air compressor. I've got a regulator on here that will keep these things from actually blowing up. Okay, so because this pipe is Schedule 40, you definitely want Schedule 40. It's the thicker one at any hardware store, basically. What you want to do is you want to keep the regulator probably down below 80, and that way it keeps everything safe. Also, you don't want to use old PVC pipe. Old PVC pipe tends to crack. If it cracks, then it can actually break apart and cause some problems. So let's look at how these things are made quickly. So basically, we have 2-inch pipe that I've used on this for large marshmallows or small water balloons you can launch out of this, and many other things. But keep in mind, if you have 80 pounds per square inch of air coming out of this all at once, you don't want to be in front of this. Even though a marshmallow, leave a little bit of welt, but you still don't want to be in front of this to cause any kind of accident. So make sure that you have some sort of adult supervision if you're younger. Looking at this, this one is built with a 2-inch tube. This right here is a 1/2 inch Schedule 40. This is also, I interchanged this to launch rockets, paper rockets, and paper airplanes. It's pretty cool to do also. So I will keep most of this stuff with threaded bushing so I can interchange this. So looking at this, first of all, we can link all these together, or we can make one separate. Okay, we can make just one unit. Now if you look at the unit, we have a Schedule 40 PVC pipe 2-inch T here, slip fit on all ends. You have to prime it with a primer and then glue in bushings. Now, because I've made this to daisy chain, I've made a bushing right here with a 3/4 inch threaded bushing on this side and a 1/2 inch threaded bushing on this side. The reason why I did a 1/2 inch is it's difficult to find adapters to get down to 3/8 inch or 1/4 inch threaded pipe for the regulator or for a valve stem. So I left this side 1/2, this side 3/4, and then I have to use an adapter if I'm daisy chaining these, but that's okay because then I can at any point make one of these, or I can chain them all together. Now I put a ball valve in between. This is a 3/4 inch threaded nipple, and then a 3/4 inch to 1/2 inch nipple with a ball valve here. What I do is I open up the valve and I pump the air in, and then I wait until I get my 60 to 80 pounds per square inch, and what I'm doing is I'm compressing all the air into these 2-inch canisters here, which basically is a 12-inch 2-inch pipe, 12-inch long, and then a coupling, a 2-inch coupling with another 3/4 inch threaded bushing on this side. So then I compress the air, so I take all this nitrogen and oxygen out of the atmosphere, I squish it in here, and that air, it's interacting, it wants to get out. It's got too much, it's like being in a giant crowd. You don't want to be in a giant crowd, it wants to get out. So by holding that compressed air, we have some potential energy. Then what we're going to do is we're going to take that potential energy and we're going to direct it all into this tube. And because we have something in front of the tube that can easily move, that's the path of least resistance. If you shove something in here, I've seen people shove potatoes in here, and they shove them in too tight, and they'll actually, if they've got weak pipe, they'll blow out the pipe because that's the least resistant area. So you don't want to clog this pipe. It has to be nice and easy. In fact, the marshmallows, they're not going to be a problem because it blow through them, but I put a little cornstarch around the marshmallows so that they slide nicely and they don't stick in there. So then we have the canister that goes into a 3/4 inch threaded nipple. The nipple goes into a sprinkler valve. Now you could use a ball valve and turn it like that really fast, but this is more exciting. Sprinkler valve, a little bit more costly. But then you take a 9-volt battery and you energize a solenoid, and the solenoid opens the valve up right now, and so it lets all the air out. Now if you hold down the button, it'll let all the air out. If you just do a quick one, it'll go down, and then it'll give you a quick burst. Then we go into a 3/4 inch nipple here, a 3/4 inch threaded elbow on both sides, and this is so that we can move and we can adjust and we can do other things. Also 3/4 inch threaded, and then I have a 3/4 inch threaded female side to a male, and then this will basically just come off the threads. Now the air pressure beyond the valve is not as important as before it. You want to make sure that you've got Teflon tape or some sort of something in here, or on these also, on the anywhere where there's compressed air. Once it releases, then you can have some leaks. But all that is a 3/4 inch threaded bushing, and it just slips right on there. Or I can use my 1/2 inch and just thread it on there really fast. I can switch them out pretty quickly. And you can use the little mini marshmallows on this too, but they're not as exciting. So here's just a quick demonstration of about about 80 pounds per square inch. Let's see if we can hit the treehouse. By the way, the roller coaster is coming soon. Hopefully in the next week or two we'll get the roller coaster finished and you can see a video on how to make a roller coaster. Ready? 1, 2, 3. So that's just about 80 pounds per square inch on that. If your marshmallow is covering the entire surface of the inside of the surface, then the air is going to push all of the marshmallow. If you've got gaps, then some of the air is going to escape and it's not going to hit as hard as it was, or go further. So keep that in mind when you're putting the marshmallow in. You've got to kind of flatten the marshmallow.